From the Middle is proud to be a founding member of Odd Pods Media. Hey, everybody. What up? This is your boy, Corey, and it's episode 176. And we're going to talk about stuff, and it's going to be great. We're going to talk about foods and stuff, and we're going to talk a little bit about my trip to Geneva, and then we're going to talk about some stuff we're streaming in the back half of the episode. And we would really appreciate it if you listened and had fun with us, because it's fun and you're going to enjoy it and have fun, and it's going to be great. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Oh, for the love. Sorry, just clearing my Mountain Dew hole.
I got my phone hole cleaned today.
That's where you keep it? You're so cerebral and you're so developed and evolved. All right. Big Richard energy.
Channel that Big Richard energy.
Yeah. Hey guys, hello guys. How are you? Corey, you look like you're in a more familiar place.
I am back from my travels and exploits in the comfort of my own home, but not quite used to the old time zone.
Oh, dude.
I'm waking up bright and early at 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
And exhausted by dinner time.
Oh, that's annoying. You need a spot of tea.
Or 10. We've probably talked about this before. I'm one of those, you know how people will say like, oh, I couldn't possibly have tea past a certain time in the afternoon. I'll be up all night.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just the size of myself, but I could chug 2 cans of Mountain Dew right before bed and be totally fine.
Yeah,
that's never been a thing I relate with. People saying I can't have X food item because it has X effect on me. My father-in-law is a very small man, and he's like, oof, green tea, I don't know. Looks at his watch like, ugh, I will be up all night, because I imagine that affects his smaller frame.
Interesting.
Do you guys relate to that?
I do. I also knew you were going to say Mountain Dew as the drink that wouldn't make you or wouldn't keep you up. I do. I'm the same way. There's no like, oh, I couldn't possibly have any sugar after 8:00. I could eat a sleeve of Oreos and then fall asleep. Like the sugar is not going to impact my ability to go to bed. If I
have currently right next to me. Oh, I guess it's caffeine. It's not caffeinated, but in preparation for some, I know we did kind of England last week, and this week is going to be Geneva, whatever. But I have some tea, but it is herbal tea. It's not like not really. And I have some shortbread cookies with it.
I mean, does that have to do with the fact that not one of us is a small guy? Like,
I don't know. Do you guys get headaches if you don't intake caffeine? Does that happen to you?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I do too. No, I don't know. Maybe it's a grown immunity. I would say that, but I mean, it seems to me if there's a grown, I don't know. I'm about to say science stuff, and I shouldn't, because I am not a scientist.
So maybe we should each just respectively consult our physicians. We know we're going there with a list of other stuff anyways. So it's like, just add that to the list. Hey, doc, here's another one for you.
Yeah. Oh, God. While you're down there looking at that, can you let me just run something past you?
Here's a question, doc. Oh, God, what is it? Why can I drink 2 cans of Mountain Dew
and a sleeve of Oreos right before bed, and it nary affects me?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it hasn't affected you. I would just say that you've been sleeping okay.
So why wouldn't we channel little Richard energy? He was a wild pianist. Like, I mean, the energy he puts off for his songs, I wasn't following. Anyways,
That was marvelous, Dylan. I love how you did that.
Speaking of foods disappointing us, because inevitably, don't you always want to chug those 2 Mountain Dews and then get in like 3 more hours of Call of Duty, but you're still tired, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like that's the reason well, it's not the reason you're doing it. You're doing it because you want to, but also conversely, you want to be able to step and play. We were in line, my wife and daughter and I at Taco Bell the other day, and some kind of the nacho fries are back, which is a treat. And there was some kind of platter with the nacho fries. And my brain didn't connect with the title of them, like what the title of the fries would have meant. I wasn't going to get them this particular time anyways. But the very last second, my wife was like, just have them throw those new special fries in. Okay. Seemed unlike her, but okay, so threw them in. I knew I was going to get to eat 99% of them anyway. So it's just like added bonus item that I get to eat that I didn't order. So we get up to the thing and we ask about the sauce on these nacho fries. And the person at the window is like, oh, I guess it's like a mushroom sauce or something. I don't know. None of us liked it.
Wow.
And then it clicked. Truff nacho fries or like truffle nacho fries. And I do not like black truffle. It's one of the few things that I don't like, that I don't care how expensive it is. I'm not into like. And I'm realizing very quickly as she's saying like mushroom sauce, truff fries, I'm putting it together, but they've like mixed it in. It's almost like they took ketchup and hot sauce packets and black truffle and made a sauce and then dumped that on steak and fries and nacho cheese.
Weird.
For one who is rarely disappointed with Taco Bell, they were gross. So let me say, I mean, I ate them all, but like they weren't good while I wasn't enjoying it while I ate them. Because there was still steak on them. I didn't want the steak to go to waste. And so it wasn't good. And it was up there. It was like the only other thing I could think of that I'd had there that we've probably talked about was the Pacific shrimp taco from Taco Bell. And that one seems kind of obvious because like a national chain shouldn't be able to get shrimp to serve, all day, every day in the middle of Ohio, like that kind of chain. So, yeah.
I'm surprised to hear there's a new Taco Bell item that you didn't like, but it makes me think a couple things. Last week we talked about or was this 2 weeks ago, the food or otherwise lifestyle trends that might be on the decline, and we talked about bacon everything.
Yeah,
there was a phase where it was truffle everything. So that's the first thought we can come back to. Second thought, I wonder if there's a threshold of quality food that if a lower quality establishment tries it, it just can't be good.
Yeah.
Like Dairy Queen trying something like lobster ravioli, the odds of that being awesome. I wonder if that's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some things that come to mind there.
Like the quality of that item is too nice for this place.
Yeah. I have had lobster rolls at McDonald's in Maine that were great.
Sure.
I don't know if it's great to Maine's standards, but I enjoyed it. I can tell you that much.
As long as it's kept as like, oh, we have 3 franchises in Maine and our franchise is going to source local lobster and serve lobster rolls. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, that feels kind of different.
Yeah. This was
a
travesty. Really.
This is as if McDonald's was trying to ship lobster to every store and put it in their freezers.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I get that.
To go back to the first part of that, is the black truffle fad over? I hope so. Because I can remember on several occasions going places that were nicer and ordering food, not realizing the French fries were going to come out with like black pepper truffle, whatever. And you're like, ugh. For me, some people like it, not my thing. And I love mushrooms, but this is a totally different flavor.
I've heard that there's a different kind of fun. Like I've never had truffle and I so want to. I feel like
Let me
I
tell you,
really want to try the Taco Bell thing, even despite your raving review of it.
It's got a very.
I'm wondering, like, is it going to ruin truffle for me? Is this like a bad? Like, what I certainly don't think is that it counts as trying truffle done properly someplace else. I don't think that.
That's fair. Although, also to be fair, black truffle will ruin black truffle for you. It's not going to take Taco Bell to do that.
Yeah, but there's some. I mean, I like some funky cheeses that a lot of people with, let's say, small town palates don't like.
Yeah,
as we talk about our small town,
as we talk about our Taco Bell with black truffle on it. I'm the same, man. I guess I need you to just go pay for them and try them now.
Yeah, there's some funk stuff that I've had. I have had like truffle potato chips before from like Kettle brand or whatever, but I have no idea what to compare that to. That's like the only truffle whatever I've ever had. Yeah. So I don't know what of truffle I was tasting there.
It's just got such a distinct flavor that's like nothing else.
Yeah.
And I don't care for it one bit.
I can tell you this. Several New Year's ago, my wife and I we liked to put like just like a charcuterie board together for just the two of us and send the babies at that stage into bed. And one year heading into New Year's Eve, we were like, you know what I've never tried is caviar. Have you ever tried caviar? Nope, I've never tried caviar. So like we it was hard to find for one thing. We had to source it. We had to, I think it might have been Whole Foods, and they had to like do an inside thing for us to like know when to show up and like get it. And
Lake Erie's finest.
I don't get that reference. I'm sorry.
Just that Lake Erie wouldn't produce good caviar.
Oh, right. But like we knew that we could buy, like you could buy roe from other types of fish and stuff, but that's not what we're looking for. A can of like sturgeon caviar. And so we got one. We paid the money for it because it is expensive. And one bite, absolutely not. Never again. One bite of caviar for each of us, and the rest of it got thrown away. So I can say that caviar is one of those expensive tastes that I am not behind.
That's what I was going to say. It didn't come from Long John Silver's.
No, it didn't come from, it wasn't Long John Silver's.
Or Captain D's. So this is like a proper can. But still, you even go like, if a fine restaurant served that up with another dish and a certain wine, like would that have changed your view of caviar? Yeah.
It's that straight, strong seafoody, fishy flavor that I just cannot get behind. I love seafood. I don't like caviar. And I don't like oysters for the same reason. That strong seafoody flavor I don't like. Mussels, I'm cool with. Clams, cool with. Fish, most fish, I'm very cool with. I love fish. That I
don't know
briny bottom of the ocean taste I'm not about.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a piece of medium sell me on the word that what we were just talking about. My brain went blank. Caviar, like the episode of Frasier where him and Niles have, if you haven't looked up, it's very funny. The whole episode is good.
Okay.
They get like this in with caviar and just how they talk about it the whole episode. But they do that with several things throughout the show. Yeah. Like it's not a real dish that I'm aware of, but the fact that Frasier continues to cook duck à l'orange throughout the series just makes you want, basically Mandarin chicken, I think but duck. And so there's several things like that throughout the show that they talk about. You're like, okay, maybe this would be a thing for me. But no caviar. Didn't me, you and our dad hit up like a steakhouse in the middle of Indiana once and they had caviar on the salad bar?
Yeah.
And it was not that high end.
Cork and Cleaver. I still remember the name of the place. And they had a surprisingly fancy salad bar. And I think this was even lunch hour. I don't even think it was dinner.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And caviar was one of the many things on it was a very very elaborate lunch spread.
Right next to the chicken tenders.
In hindsight, being in the middle of nowhere, Indiana, maybe this was a money laundering thing for them. So just a way to, it's like, look how much caviar we're funneling into this place. So
yeah,
that might be a fun call to action. So if you're listening and have ever had experiences where the quality of a food item didn't seem to match the establishment from which you were getting it, and that could have either gone surprisingly well or very badly, we'd be curious to hear.
Yeah, and alternatively, if that's an elaborate question, do you like black truffle or caviar? And if you don't, do you like things that are similar? Like, I love mushrooms and Kendall loves all kinds of those seafood, yet we didn't like the things that we had. Let us know. I'd be curious.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of fine things, Kendall, I took a video for you on my travels to Geneva. So, guys, I have to. There are a lot of podcasts I follow, comedians I enjoy, and when I watch their YouTube channels, they will sometimes share travel logs, video blogs of them on the road or them doing interesting things, and it always looks so fun. Even when they're in a place like the airport, because it's somebody you enjoy, seeing them in the airport is fun because it's like, what do they do between flights? And so I had the best of intentions to take all these videos and do an elaborate series of videos leading up to my first encounter and meeting with Jordan and Harrison in Manchester. I even on Saturday morning, the weekend between my London and Geneva trip, Saturday morning, 6 a.m., I'm in my hotel lobby getting some coffee, and I've got the camera turned on myself, and I'm like, well, guys, it's 6 a.m. I'm about to start my journey to meet Harrison and Jordan. I should be to the train station by this time. It's a 2-hour train ride. I'll get some video of the train. I didn't even take the next video.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
that's where it ended.
It's so much work, and then you feel weird, and then you feel like you're not actually experiencing the moment. You're trying to video the moment. And then I realized these people that I enjoy on YouTube, they have film crews that follow around and people that do all the editing and make it. I wanted to do a slow motion da, 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 when I'm running to hug Harrison for the first time. None of that happened. But I did manage to get you a video, Kendall, and so I'm going to share it with you now, and we can voice it over for the folks who aren't watching on the YouTubes. So one of the colleagues I was with in Geneva used to work at Starbucks, and don't hold that against him. But on the side, he also used to train competitive baristas.
Oh, fun!
So he has a deep appreciation for quality coffee and espresso, and so he had done a ton of research on the places to go in Geneva while we were there. And every morning we would stop at this place called the Barista Lab, which just happened to be between our hotel and the customer offices. And we got to know if not the owner, the main guy in there that was working every day. And so my colleague is pointing out that machine right there, that grinder alone probably costs $3,000. And see, he's got this economy of motion with his movements where he knows if he's making 4 lattes, he does each thing at a certain time so that, we were deep into it. I even went back one day when we had an early break in the afternoon, and my colleague had gone back to that place where one of the employees was cupping, where you have all of the coffees out and they're cold and you're slurping them to try to taste the difference of there was a whole thing. I wanted to share. So let me share my screen real quick. I thought you'd appreciate. So here we are. I'm not sure if you can see the equipment, but
so far a nice pan of the coffee shop.
I see a grinder and some baked goods.
He's got his hand on. Is that the roaster that he's got his hand on there?
I can't
tell. It's a big, I think that's big cast iron machine.
That's probably the espresso maker, right?
Okay, yeah. Anyway, it was some of the creamiest, best lattes I've ever had. He wouldn't do any flavorings because he wanted to keep it all pure. He's like, I know you Americans like all your vanillas and your vanilla lattes. He wouldn't do any of that. The closest he got was he made his own custom pumpkin spice because he knew it's fall time and we Americans like that. But that was actually just his own blend of spices and things that he made. But he won't do any fake, like, what do you call them?
I don't know. The things that people drink.
Syrups. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. People who don't like coffee, the stuff that they put in their coffee.
Anyway, it was, even me with my small town palate could appreciate, this is a nice latte I'm having right now. This is something, this is single origin, special quality, good stuff. I even participated in the cupping and was trying to understand the different notes that they were talking about.
Nice.
It's thought you'd like that.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Maybe your visit though will inspire him. Maybe by the time you go back, he'll have like sun-dried tomato and black truffle coffee flavors.
Yeah,
that we can try, or a little caviar.
Can you put a half pump of raspberry in my white mocha?
That's one of my favorite drinks.
Making fun of me, Riz?
So yes, first off, sorry that I didn't come prepared with quality edited videos of 2 weeks of travel.
How dare you?
It was so weird. Like, I really did. I thought we'll do this whole thing and it'll be funny and I'll edit it all together and it'll be like a 15-minute, thing that we can put up on our YouTube channel. And I was weird. I opted to be in the moment rather than record it.
I appreciate that. I also appreciate that feeling when I think you alluded to this. I know that I have felt it before in circumstances where I thought, you know what, I should probably take a quick little video of this. Where I'm just like, no, it's not. What's the where you feel like you don't deserve what you have? What's that?
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. It's like there's an imposter syndrome there where it's like, I'm not actually a YouTuber. People around here are gonna think that I'm like some kind of a try hard, and if I pull up my camera and start, I'm just not gonna. That just doesn't feel right.
I think you're really overthinking the just sharing videos of people.
That's it.
But no, but even like with your kids, these sweet little tender moments happen with your kids, and then you see people. Well, they film those things and they put those things to music. And then they slow it down and then they do the same spot 3 years later with their kid again. And then they do it when their kid's 15 in the same spot. And now you're crying. And all it was 3 videos that they took the time to shoot, but they edit it together really nicely. And you're like, oh, see, I would never think maybe I should start filming everything. And then you're like, where am I going to store all this footage and who's going to edit these things? And
see, I wasn't even thinking about that. Like that, I don't have much of a problem with. What I personally feel weird about is like if it were me in a hotel lobby where there's other people around, and here's me going, all right, guys, it's 6 a.m. and everybody around is just kind of like staring. Who is this idiot? Am I supposed to know who this is? Yeah, I'm about to go on my way to meet my friends who nobody around here knows. All right, that's a wrap, everybody. But like you're by yourself, and I just don't think
exactly that
doing that.
Saturday morning on a train, and you're the only one with their hand up filming themselves going, all right, we got about 30 minutes till we're going to meet Jordan and Harrison for the first time. We're coming into the station.
Can I get everybody to calm down? I need to shoot a scene right quick.
Yeah, I think the more that you talk to a pretend crew, the funnier it gets.
That's what we're missing.
Steve, cut. It's great. That's all we needed. And then just walk away.
Sebastian just talked about on the latest episode of their podcast I watched. He said he did Logan Paul's podcast. I think it was Logan, one of the Paul brothers. And he says he walks into Logan's house, and the minute he walks through the door, there's 2 cameras on him. There's like 18 people in Logan's house. He's got his personal trainer there. He's got his marketing team there. He's got his agent there, and they're all communicating. All right, we need this. And then, all right, Sebastian, we're going to have you come right this way. And he's like, they said, where's your people? And he's like, it's just me. You wanted just me on the podcast, right? Like, I'm the guest. Like, and he just said he was appreciating how the pace at which these like people churning out tons of content have to operate. And he's like, people are yelling and like throwing things to one another. One guy's in the corner eating, like, I'll be right there. Like, it's just a whole system. And that's how I feel like you have to be. And I'm sure it's somewhere in between doing nothing and that. But I do have these ideas sometimes where I'm like, man, if I filmed that and then put it to the right music, man, I think that'd be a really cool chunk of whatever that two people might really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Not all of us have it in us to be Gary Vee, where like every piece of content is 14 different kinds of piece of content. You can make audio snippets. You can make video snippets, put those on TikTok. You can take the full thing and upload to YouTube. You can do the other ones and do Instagram and Facebook stories. You can cut a quote out from the thing and put it on a wallpaper and share that on Facebook.
Well, yeah, what you need is the clips, and the clips actually lead people to the full episode. But if you play the right sound on TikTok, then that flags it, and that'll make sure it's trending. And then people, and I'm like, I don't even think that way.
Yeah.
And that's why we are where we are, baby.
In the middle,
we something else. We're different.
If anything, I think that validates how much we like Sebastian and that he's pretty down to earth, because he just shows up by himself and goes, "What people?"
Yeah.
I just came here because you wanted me. That's great. Makes me like Sebastian even more, actually.
Nothing could be simpler than their video production. My internet crapped out.
And they just got a new producer, and it's still pretty simple. He talked about, while he was a guest on that episode, he's a few minutes in and he's already dripping sweat, and he can't not say something. And he's like, guys, I need something. So they hand him a paper towel, and he's like, he's now the guy dabbing himself during the interview. Which reminded me of Geneva, because even though it was 60 degrees, my colleagues thought it would be really great to walk everywhere. It's very European. Everything's relatively close. I get it. And I don't mind the act of walking one bit. And even though I sit at a desk most of the time, I wasn't huffing and puffing, let's just say, when we got to every destination. What, however, I really didn't like was arriving everywhere all the time, drenched. It's 60 degrees, like low 60s some days, and overcast. The locals are wearing coats and scarves, and I'm getting to the customer offices in a button-down shirt and nice jeans, looking relatively business cash, with a river of sweat running down my back, to the point that I was like, guys, our company will pay for Ubers. Can we please not walk everywhere? I just want to eat dinner, not sweating. It's a very real thing. It happened in London too. And London was 10 degrees colder. We're walking everywhere. Love Harrison, love Jordan. But we walked 18,000 steps around Manchester. Did I say 18,000 already? Couple times? I think so. It was a lot of walking, and I had a 40-pound backpack, and I just don't want to walk everywhere.
I think that's how Europeans try to look after us Americans. Like, maybe if we walk him enough, he'll get some good exercise.
I think I complained about it enough that Harrison texted me later and was like, "Hey man, I'm really sorry for all the walking." And I felt like I had to say, I don't mind walking. I'm okay. I just don't want to be sweaty all the
time. Yeah, the things you got to do when you're visiting people who aren't down in two and do's a night.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll make the Geneva recap short and sweet. I think I have a new favorite city. It's right up there, and I've I've had some. I've had some work trips in nice locales. Bermuda is another that's right up there. But Geneva, man, I was texting multiple people and I'm like, every evening you've got this beautifully clean European city. You feel totally safe at night. Everything's well lit, very clean. There were street sweepers and the actual humans and the machines regularly cleaning up the streets, blowing the leaves, making it look nice and tidy. And I even texted a little video to Dylan one night. We're on these cobblestone streets in the old part of town, and there's these cathedrals, and it had rained earlier in the day, so the evening lights are reflecting off the cobblestone streets, and it's so quiet. You can hear somebody a block over walking, the clip clop of their shoes on the pavement, and it's just so nice. And then you walk by a restaurant that's a little more lively, and the smell of chocolate and bread and cigarette smoke fills the air, and you're just like, and people are speaking French, and it's just like, this place is cool. I really like Geneva. And then we did have a free day where I got to check out the local Harley Davidson dealership in Geneva, and we went to the UN right up to the gates and got some pictures. And there's a famous statue in the courtyard out in front of the UN offices there, and walked around Lake Geneva. You think you're doing good in life financially, walk around Lake Geneva and look at the people that are walking around there, and the apartments that overlook Lake Geneva, and the stores, Cartier, Hermes, Louis Vuitton, all these places around the area, places where you just walk in and there's a gigantic open lobby, and you look out, and in the storefront, they just have like rare precious metals that you can have random things engraved in, but you have to like go in and by appointment only. There's one person at a desk. There's no other signage or anything. You just, if you know, this is where you go to get your bars of whatever precious metal. Anyway, fascinating, very cool, beautiful, loved it. If you get a chance, check it out.
I've never been cool enough to have a if you know situation. I've never like side entrance to a place that you're going anyway, or somebody like hooks you up with a better seat or a free meal or whatever. Never been in that situation.
There's even some of those in Columbus. A buddy of mine knows of a speakeasy in Columbus. It's a very unassuming door in an alley with the sliding slot. And you say, you pick up an old school phone and you say your passcode into the phone, and then the door opens, and then you take an elevator up to this lounge area where there's leather clawfoot chairs, and you exchange no money in I think it's like a bourbon, whiskey bourbon sort of like speakeasy. You exchange no money in the establishment. You just handle it all through your monthly dues. There are places like that. That's a lifestyle I will never lead.
Yeah, I
know. They know that they don't have to do that anymore in this country.
But it's fun, Kendall.
I get
it's fun to pretend.
I get it.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
The closest I get is that McDonald's will offer me any size drink for $1. And then I can just exchange my dues with Apple Pay on my phone.
Yeah.
But that would be the cool type of place to like take a friend or a family member and be like, I got you, dog. But yeah, it was beautiful, really good time, and just a lot of walking.
Well, that feels like a perfect if you know kind of segue to hear from one of our friends in one of the Odd Pods Media Network shows.
Hi, I'm Tina Jaramillo.
And I'm Hillary Doherty.
And we host the Muck Podcast, where we discuss the dark and sometimes weird true stories in American politics.
Hey, Tina, did you know that Elvis crashed the Nixon White House for the sole purpose of getting a DEA badge? And it worked?
What? Or how a gun control advocate senator out of California engaged in gun trafficking with notorious gang leader Shrimp Boy.
Shrimp Boy, I remember him. Okay, so, we cover all of that and more for maladies, madness, mischief, and murder in U.S. politics.
And we also host a bi-weekly interview segment called Lil Muck.
We interview politicians, journalists, activists, and others who share their experiences in politics.
Find the Muck Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts and check us out on social media at the Muck Podcast.
Speaking of Little Richard energy, I watched the Elvis movie on the plane, and this might get into some of the things we've been streaming. Some of you may or may not know. I know Dylan certainly does. From like age 7 or 8 until high school, I was a Elvis fan. I don't know why. I don't know what I had seen of him early on. I did have a great aunt who really liked Elvis. That may have influenced part of it. Our mom was always like having Dylan and I put on little performances for people. And one of the things I would do was my Elvis impersonation as a kid.
Sorry.
And it's really fun when little kids do that. It's not fun when 16-year-olds do that. It's a little weird.
You're like a little Elvis hula bobble.
But I liked him. I more than anything, I liked the way that at least documentaries and things depicted how he could move a crowd and the effect that he had. I hadn't really seen a live performer like that have that effect over a crowd of people. So I was an Elvis fan. I knew Baz Luhrmann was making this film, Baz Luhrmann of Moulin Rouge and Great Gatsby. He makes these big, swooping, epic, sort of like exaggerated biopics. And so the Elvis one came out, but the actor portraying Elvis, I couldn't get behind him because I didn't feel like he looked like Elvis, and that's kind of an important aspect of the thing.
Sure.
Had you guys known about this?
No, not really. I recently saw it advertised, but
I've not seen it. I'm very aware. I've seen the trailer multiple times, just by chance.
So I couldn't even, as a guy who considered himself an Elvis fan, I just couldn't get into.
Yeah, that looks just like Elvis. Most of those.
Yeah. See, for me, that guy wasn't doing it for me. Just, he's too long in the face. I don't know. Anyway, so
it's a little too pretty, I think.
But
maybe, I don't know.
My colleagues I was with were like, you got to give it a chance. It's actually really, really good. So I watched it. I recommend it. Check it out. It seems to be pretty true to his life. It takes some fun liberties in true Baz Luhrmann fashion, but it's worth checking out if you're into music. Tom Hanks plays Colonel Tom Parker, who was his manager for the duration, most of his career. Ended up taking about 50% of every dollar that Elvis brought in and sort of made him a slave to that casino in Vegas. But it's pretty good. Pretty good. Worth checking out. What are you guys streaming anything?
Well, speaking of legends, before we talk about what we're streaming, we were just in Indiana for the weekend. We were driving on the way home, and I noticed, after trailing this semi-truck trailer for a while, approximately 1/4 of the 2 long, tall doors, approximately 1/4 of it had the image of a person on it. Like they had a huge, 6-foot printout of somebody that was like up on the thing, and not their whole body. It kind of looked from a distance like it was the upper half, maybe cut off around the waist. And so I don't know what this is, but okay, it's a business logo or something. As I get closer, I can make out there's sticker lettering below that just says "Legends Never Die." And so, okay, still don't know what this is, but then I get close enough again to see it just says some kind of like @ handle and the name Sandeep, and then I'm pretty sure it was just somebody in a really ugly polo and ripped jeans on the sticker. And they had one flip phone up to their ear in one hand and the other flip phone out in front of them like they were working with 2 flip phones. And I realized that might have just been that trucker's friend that he that he wanted, and it wasn't a company logo. But what really sold it was the 2 flip phones. Like, this guy was such a legend that he would work on 2 razors at the same time to get his job done. And so I just thought that was a really nice homage to the truck driver's friend. He even threw his social media handle up there on it, and the Legends Never Die moniker. And so it was pretty cool.
That's
Did
right.
you catch it? I kind of want to Google it to see what this was.
The Razor really was the last cool flip phone.
Yeah. And to have 2 of them,
and he's still,
obviously,
and he is proving that it has never died.
And he will never. Legendary, not, heroes have 1 razor. Legends have 2.
Legends have 2.
Maybe
it requires 2 razors in order to send a tweet these days.
Maybe the razor could only do 70 characters, and so he has to start it on one and finish the other 70 on the other one.
Yeah, without a QWERTY keyboard.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was very nice. So if anyone wants to get giant stickers of us and put Legends Never Die from the mid pod, you're welcome to. Like, you don't even need any more permission than this right now. Please get giant stickers of us and our logo and put it on your vehicles, because I think that would be really cool.
And if you want regular size stickers of us, we still have some of those laying around.
Oh, that's
they
true.
are very, very nice vinyl decal die cut stickers. Looks
that's
something
true.
like this.
I can quit using them as tissues if we want to sell them again. So.
Get yourself some from the middle stickers. Show your love and put it on your water thing.
And they are definitely
kind of forgot there for a couple of years that we're sticker salesmen.
Yeah, and YouTube stars. A little bit of both.
Did you remember the social media handle, Dylan, by chance?
No, I think it said Sandeep was all I got.
Okay.
Really unfortunate, ugly polo and jeans. And actually it was him. I think what it was Sandeep in this photo, if that's who it was sitting cross-legged with some ripped up jeans, and like they cut off the picture like right below the tops of his legs. And so it just kind of got him hunched over working on 2 razors. Let's see it. What was it? If I look up, the right hand was holding a razor to the ear and kind of over top of his turban. And then the other razor was out in front of him in his left hand, like he was QWERTY typing. I'm surprised a razor could even take a photo that good to get blown up, or maybe they had a professional camera. I'm not sure. So it's very nice.
He was using both of his razors at that time.
So that maybe
it is funny that you can maybe, and there had to be something else too, because he wasn't. The photo was taken and he shared social media stuff that he can't check because he doesn't have a smartphone. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but I'm just saying good luck. Sandeep is what we think. Maybe possibly it might be something like that.
Yeah. Legends Never Die, baby.
That's right.
Felt like a really nice intro to a new Bond movie, if there was going to be one, just Legends Never Die.
I can see that.
As far as what I'm watching, She-Hulk, nice show. Got lots of criticism. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it, brings back Matt Murdock as Daredevil. So that was a ton of fun. And breaks the fourth wall, just like Deadpool. But since she's a girl, she's not allowed to do it, and Ryan Reynolds is. So if you can, you can decide whether
Dylan's going to bang that drum, huh?
I just thought it would be funny to say. I thought it was a nice show. Finally got to watch a little bit of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Definitely has that epic Middle-earthy feel. I have no idea what's going on because I don't know what appendices this is based off of, but fine. I'm here for it. We finished Welcome to Wrexham. I'm about to watch Ray and Raymond, a new Apple TV Plus show that just dropped with Ewan McGregor and forgetting the other guy's name. But of course, I wanted to watch it because of Ewan McGregor. He was in Moon Knight. He played kind of the villain, Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke and Ewan McGregor play brothers in Ray and Raymond on Apple TV Plus. So lots of stuff I'm finishing, want to watch. The Crown comes back soon. Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever is going to be in theaters soon.
Yeah.
Ant-Man Quantumania trailer just dropped. That looks bizarre and awesome. I don't know. There's a lot going on.
Raymond and Ray, not Ray and Raymond. Do you know what the premise of that show is?
I don't know if it feels like it's based off a book. The fact that Apple made it, I don't know that it is, but it feels like it is. The basic premise is
looks like it was based off of a book from the poster.
Right. Yeah, that feels like a very booky title too. So the two brothers come back together because the dad has passed away, and apparently they didn't have a very good relationship with their father. And the dad's final wish was that they dig the hole that he's buried in. And so they come together to go do that. And even the trailer will reveal that whoever this young woman that was a friend of the dad's had a child. And so they find out they've got a very young brother as well, who appears to be somewhere like 8 to 12. But I think it's supposed to be kind of funny and kind of like them learning about themselves and about the relationship with each other and their father, but also a little funny, but how the dad just never really had a serious relationship with them, always kind of screwed with them. And so this is kind of another iteration of that relationship. But the trailer just looked really interesting, and I'm a Ewan McGregor fan, so it felt like gonna jump in, gonna do it. So if anybody wants to watch it with me, let me know what you thought in direct message, email, and text.
I'm really excited for you to finish Rings of Power. Sherry and I finished it last night. There are big implications.
Naturally,
I know some people are hot and bothered that that Amazon Prime took some liberties with these appendices that they acquired, and some are saying it's not true to the canon that is Lord of the Rings and all of that. But man, it was fun.
Apparently, this is a rumor. Amazon had pitched the Tolkien estate that they wanted to do like a Gandalf spinoff and like a Aragorn spinoff, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that the estate was apparently appalled at the idea. And so this was sort of what they were allowed to do versus like, the Gandalf solo film and then the Aragorn solo film and then building up to whatever. So they clearly spent money making it. And so I won't fault them. Not that spending money is the only indicator, certainly of a good show, but they've certainly spent money to make the movie look good or make the show look good. Mm-hmm. So there's no faulting them for visual effects and set designs and props. And it's very interesting so far.
Kendall,
guys, I think I gotta go. I just got an email entitled Cole's surprise, and that I have a reward Cole's that's waiting for me. So
go.
Right, we'll see you. Do what you got to do.
You gotta go pick that up. So I have finished Picard, and I have watched essentially what I'm going to watch of Star Trek. So I'm skipping films, I think. No, I think I've seen them. Anyway, I'm not doing animated series. I just can't get into animated stuff. I
can get into animated stuff, and the animated series is bad.
Is it really?
You're fine. Yeah.
All right.
I'm talking about the original animated series from like Star Trek, the animated Star Trek, not the new Lower Decks or.
There's Lower Decks and stuff that I would watch if I could, but I've tried too many times to get into animated content, and I don't know what the deal is with me. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
But I finished Picard and I liked it, and I feel like I liked Discovery far more than I liked Picard. And it's not because there's differences. It is because I feel like Discovery just feels more like Star Trekky to me.
Yeah.
Oh, my internet connection is unstable.
That's all right. We got you.
Fantastic moment for that to happen. Can you guys hear me okay?
All right. And so you like Discovery better than Picard. Have you gone back to watch any of the old series?
No, I didn't. I did back. There's too much there to do that.
Okay.
So I won't be going back. I've seen them all. So yeah, no, Discovery feels more let's go out on a mission and meet new weird things and deal with the fallouts that come. I love it. Even though I don't particularly like preachy Hollywood, which Star Trek has always kind of notoriously been. But I still like it. For me, it's I'm not on one accord with them all the time. It's more along the lines of I'm able to look past it and be a grown up. And so that's Star Trek. I watched since then Welcome to Wrexham, which I loved, and which prompted me to purchase FIFA 23 for Nintendo Switch, which is awesome because it comes with the Wrexham Club. A little bit pissed off because it does not have Richmond.
Oh, it's supposed to.
It doesn't.
Every
single version of FIFA 23 has Richmond, except for Switch. It's the one that doesn't. They don't tell you that in any of the ads. Or like I looked up, I knew that they were in 22, and so I looked up to see if they were in 23, and everything I was reading was like, yes, it's there. And then I never asked specifically about Nintendo Switch until after I bought it and can't find them, and I'm trying to figure out how to get them. And then I'm looking it up a little bit deeper, and it's like, yeah, it's not on Switch. Wrexham's there for some odd reason, but Richmond's not there.
Yeah. So no Ted Lasso for you on FIFA.
No Ted Lasso for me.
Bummer.
Well, to make you feel better, because you got a Switch recently, Harrison sent back with me a sticker for you of the sword from Legend of Zelda. That he made these stickers, and Dylan, he got you the spooky burrito sword through the magical cat hat. So I got stickers from
that's wonderful. That is beautiful. Thank
from
you.
Harrison for you guys. And a couple threads to pull on there. So you mentioned Star Trek Lower Decks, the animated series. I thought I was watching that on the plane when I selected the show Below Deck, but that's a reality show about hot people that work on yachts. And so I watched season 3 of that on the plane, which is actually a pretty good show.
Is this like the Hooters? I mean, seriously though, it's not because they're just wearing bikinis. It's really the wings are delicious.
No, it's like Road Rules or Big Brother or whatever, where they all have to live and work together, but they are the ones serving whoever ends up chartering these super fancy super yachts. So they have to work and serve and be the bosun and the captain and everything below, while all these other rich people are having a good time. And then they fight with each other, and this one likes this one, but has a boyfriend back home. I got into 2 episodes of that. Now I got to finish that season. And then I mentioned last week that I binged the entire drama of Dahmer. And I know, sorry, I'm so sorry to the people that roll their eyes, but Pete and Sebastian talked for about 20 minutes about this show and how much they're enjoying it, but how creepy and cringy it is.
Yeah.
A lot of people talking about it. The guy that plays Dahmer is so good, and they drag out these awkward, uncomfortable scenes. It's just, and the more crazy this show gets, then you realize that this is all true stuff that Dahmer actually did and said. And then you're like, oh, that's even creepier. And then I didn't realize he went to Ohio State for a while.
Yeah.
Ooh. Anyway, good times. If you want something a little darker.
Nope.
It's Halloween, Dylan.
Nope. I feel like this week I'm gonna try to watch Ghostbusters 1, 2, and then the new Ghostbusters with Mark Ruffalo. Those feel like my favorite Halloween-y themed things. And my wife might be open to finally trying the Harry Potter franchise, which obviously would run well past this week. That would probably be like, why don't we try a movie a week, even if we need to like watch an hour and then a couple days later watch the second part of the first movie and then slowly work our way through it. But the Harry Potter films very much feel like an October, November, December kind of event. If you're like trying to pick a time of the year that feels like they make sense. So I'm not upset about it if we drag them out through the holidays.
I thought my train to Manchester would feel like riding the Hogwarts Express to Hogwarts. It did not. That's not what it was like. It was basically like being in the fuselage of an airplane, and it was so comfortable. You didn't even get the like like you're just riding on a cloud, super smooth. You barely felt a bump. But you're right. Those are very good late October, November, December movies.
Do you think that's the next step of like nostalgia for humans, of like adding engine sounds back into cars, and like trains will have like a little speaker you can turn on the wall that just go just to create, and like, and there's like the little thumper seats and like the theaters that like rumble under the seats. They'll put a little bit of in the bench under like the.
We've got the technology to make noiseless electric cars, and we're making them produce sounds so that pedestrians hear them for safety reasons.
Yeah. Well, that's a better reason then, because my feelings like it better.
But nostalgia's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, they're certainly doing it for nostalgic reasons as well. There's no reason why you need that sound on the inside, but they still do it.
It's like, then why do we go to the trouble of making it perfectly noiseless and electric?
We're very flawed human beings.
I'm tapped.
That's it.
That's all I got.
We're an interesting bunch. If you smell bad, you can fix that by going to artiusman.com, artiusman.com. And they're going to have beard products for those of you with beards. They are going to have shower and soap products for those of you without beards. And if you're a man who's not afraid to admit that he likes a good candle, they have a good selection of candles that you know what? They don't smell like your wife bought them. They're manly, good manly scents. So next time you have your significant other walk into your house, they can come into the wafting smell of cedar, and then they snuggle up to you and they sniff your beard, which smells like lilac and pine tar all at the same time. And it's just a marvelous thing. So head on over to artiusman.com as you're checking out. Throw the middle into the old discount slot and see what comes out.
Yeah, really, it's the kind of products that legends who never die would wear. So if you're a legend who will never die, you certainly should fill up your cart.
Right.
I bet Elvis,
the internet.
I bet Elvis, Jeffrey Dahmer, and even Sandeep.
Ted Lasso, all of them.
Ted Lasso.
Oy boy.
The whole AFC Wrexham team.
Yeah. We just connected Dahmer to Artius Man, and I don't.
We lost our one sponsor, guys. We
Sorry,
lost
Jeff.
They're gone. Gone for good. Hey, we'll see y'all next week.